All right. Welcome in, Sagittarius, rising signs, sun signs. Hope you're doing well. This is going to be an informative video. We're going to talk about Gemini moving into Uranus over the next 7 years. And we want to take a look at how that's going to pan out for you, okay? If you have your natal chart and you know that Uranus was in the 7th house when you were born, this can be for you as well. So what is this? This is going to be relationship centered. It's going to be a high impact transit. It doesn't stay theoretical, okay? It shows up through other people. So it's the partnerships become a catalyst for the change in your life. So Sagittarius, you are freedom loving, you're growth oriented, independent identity. So your relationships are changing and they're forcing you to redefine what connection and freedom mean. So let me back up. Let's talk about the 7th house and let's talk about what this rules. So in real life, it's romantic relationships, long-term partnerships. This can be business and personal. It's contracts and agreements. It's your one-on-one dynamics. It's the other person in your life. So with Uranus here, relationships become unpredictable. They become fast moving and transformative. So let's talk about some real life examples here. So you'll have sudden beginnings and sudden endings. So you'll have relationships that start and they'll end. Some of them will end just as quickly. So for example, you're meeting somebody unexpectedly and all of a sudden you're forming a strong connection quickly. And then you have relationships ending abruptly when it no longer fits. You start attracting unconventional people. So you're going to find yourself drawn to different types of partners. So for example, people from different backgrounds, lifestyles, or just different ways of thinking. Relationships that don't follow traditional rules. So relationship patterns change completely. So what happens is you stop repeating old dynamics. For example, you're going to let go of codependency, okay? You're going to stop refusing, controlling, or limiting relationships. You're more independent within relationships, okay? You find yourself, you're going to need space, even in your close connections. For example, you might redefine boundaries, okay? You're going to want relationships to allow freedom. With your business partnerships, those shift. You're going to find collaborations become more important but unstable. For example, here, you're going to start or end partnerships, working with different people over time. You're going to learn about yourself through others. So relationships mirror your growth. For example, you may realize the kind of people I attract is changing because I'm changing. So you definitely are going through changes, as we all are through this transit. Although we're all changing in different areas of our life, yours happens to be the 7th house. So this is close relationships in your marriages. So for sun sign, this is really an internal experience for you, okay? This is where it gets interesting because Sagittarius already values freedom. We know this. You love your freedom. So Sagittarius, you want to explore. You want independence. You want growth. With Gemini and Uranus, this is going to bring change, unpredictability, and it's going to bring mental stimulation. You're going to welcome change, mostly. So you're basically less afraid of relationship shifts. For example, instead of clinging, you think, if it changes, it changes. You start to prioritize freedom in your relationships. You're not going to tolerate any kind of restrictions anymore. You're going to seek mental connection. So what happens? You value conversation and ideas more. So for example, you're drawn to people who challenge your thinking. So you redefine commitment. Commitment doesn't mean losing your freedom. So for example, you create relationships that allow both connection and independence. Growth through relationships. Each relationship pushes you forward. For example, every connection teaches you something that changes your direction. So for the rising sign, this is all going to happen for you externally. It'll be your environment that changes. For the sun sign, you're going to go through this experience internally. You're going to seek growth and freedom. So really, the experience becomes, the people in my life are changing, and I'm learning how to stay free while still connecting. So how is this going to look for you realistically over the 7 years? So in the early phase, we're looking at the first year, year and a half, maybe 2 years. You're going to feel restless in your relationships. You will start questioning current dynamics. By the middle phase, 2 to 3 years, you're going to find yourself meeting new people. You're going to go through endings, and your relationships start shifting. You'll explore different types of connections. By the peak phase, what we're looking at, 5th year maybe, major relationship changes. You're going to redefine commitment and partnership. The final phase, relationships that feel aligned with your growth. That's who you're going to start connecting with. It'll be a better balance between freedom and connection. Remember, you do not like restrictions. So through the transit, yes, there are risks and challenges because we do have folks that are not willing to change. For Sagittarius placements, you could find yourself avoiding commitment entirely. You could find yourself jumping from relationship to relationship, not staying long enough to build something meaningful. So while, you have to understand you like your freedom and you want freedom in relationship, you want to make sure you're avoiding too much freedom, right? You want to remain connected while still being free and be able to move about the cabin as you are as your sign, freedom and independent. So the best way for this transit, the best way for you to use it, you got to remember, the goal isn't to avoid relationships, it's to evolve them. So do this. Choose partners who support your growth. Build connections that allow your independence. For example, a relationship where both people grow individually together. Remember, you don't have to have the same interests. You can still do things independent of each other. Remember, the big truth. Gemini equals connection and communication. The planet Uranus, it brings change and awakenings. So Sagittarius, relationships are the vehicle through which you grow and evolve during this period. The final takeaway. This is a relationship reinvention cycle. By the end, you're more independent within your relationships, clear about what you want in a partner, and aligned with connections that support your growth. So, Sagittarius, I hope this was helpful. And if you like this kind of content, I plan on trying to do more and help people work through these transits, be aware of what's going to happen and the best way to harness it. So if you like this kind of content, please subscribe, share if you know any other Sagittariuses in your life. Hopefully this will help them understand what the next 7 years is going to be like for them, how it will help them grow. And now we're going to move over to a couple of oracle messages for you. We're going to move to higher self messages, and then we'll do sacred soul messages and see what comes out for you. All right. So tell me about Sagittarius. Give me a message, please. Higher self for Sagittarius. Nice. As you connect to spirit, you draw closer to your higher self. So this is much like a spiritual, transit for you, okay? Because you're going through the growth opportunities. You're actually going to connect with yourself, with your higher self, and realize you want to be in connections where you can still be free and you can still grow. That is about a spiritual connection to you, and you might find yourself connecting to other people in a more spiritual way through your higher self, knowing that you still want to be independent, you still want to grow, but you still want to be in connections, and you want other people to learn their freedom and for them to learn how to grow. Sacred soul message here for Sagittarius. What do we have here, please? What is planted in your soul will sprout. Plant the seeds. Dedication. Your work is rewarded. So remember, this is a growth, okay? Here you have, it's like a plant, okay? But plants need oxygen, right? And they give us oxygen. So in order to grow, you need to plant those seeds, okay? Be dedicated to your freedom, but also remaining in connection with other people. Your work is going to be rewarded. You're going to find the right people to connect with that you learn from, and they're going to learn from you, because remember, you're a freedom sign. You're an independent sign. You may find yourself connecting to people who are going to learn how to be more free and how to be more independent. Okay? Just like you're going to learn from them. All right? So I love you guys. I hope this was helpful. And until the next one, I will talk to you soon.